Hello students, today we are going to learn a new topic and that is AIDS. So the word AIDS stand for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. This means deficiency of immune system acquired during lifetime of an individual, indicating that it is not congenital disease. That means it is not gained from the birth. And the last word, that is a syndrome, that means a group of a symptom. That means if person gets some disease like AIDS, okay, they will show some symptoms, number of symptoms they will show. Okay, that's why it is called syndrome. AIDS was first reported in 1981. Okay, and the last 25 years, in the last 25 years or so, it has spread all over the world. Okay, means it is within 25 years only, it is spread all over the world and killing more than 25 million persons. So this is a fatal disease. So before we go further, let me understand a causative agent of this disease, and that is grouped under the viruses. So here AIDS is caused by human immunodeficiency virus. In short, it is called HIV. Why it is called immunodeficiency virus? Because that is responsible for causing deficiency in human immune system, and that's why a name of a virus is given is a human immunodeficiency virus. Actually, they are the group or a member of a viruses that is called retroviruses. So HIV virus is the member of a retroviruses family, okay, which have an envelope enclosing the RNA genome. So here genetic material of this virus is a RNA. So let me understand a detailed structure of HIV virus. So here on the screen you can see the structure of HIV, in which in the center of the virus you can see a spiral shape. Here in this condition, the spiral shaped RNA, that is a genetic material, that is a RNA, a number of such chain or RNA sequences are in 2. So 2 strands are present in the center. This is a one strand, okay, and this is the second strand you can see. Okay, surrounding this strand you can see one envelope is there, okay, and that is called code protein. Okay, and inside this you can see the dots. Okay, here you can see the dots. These viruses are the viruses are means they have some weapon to attack on the human cells. Okay, and as a weapon they will have a reverse transcriptase enzyme. Here you can see by using this diagram, here a reverse transcriptase enzyme is there. Second weapon is a protease enzyme. Okay, so these enzymes are very powerful tool to invade inside the human cells. So protease will help to virus means enter inside the human cell and proliferate. Third weapon is the integrase enzyme. So virus has 3 type of enzyme which will act as a weapon during the pathogenesis to the human. So during the entry inside the human cell, they will require these weapons. Okay, so this is including reverse transcriptase enzyme, protease enzyme, and then integrase enzyme. So in this center, here you can see in the center of the virus, you can see 2 strands of RNA is present. Okay, along with these 2 strands of RNA, 3 enzymes are there, that is a reverse transcriptase enzyme, then protease enzyme and integrase enzyme, and this is the center portion of a virus. So be very clear, virus is a cellular organism, means they do not have a cell structure, means they do not have a nucleus, they do not have any organelle like a mitochondria, anything you have learned already in standard 11. They do not have cell like structure, and that's why they are considered as a acellular organism, and that's why only they have to be parasite. Okay, they have to be enter inside the human cell, or maybe inside the animal cell, maybe inside the plant cell, or maybe inside the bacterial cell to survive. Okay, or to multiply, because these organisms do not have any machinery for the reproduction, and that's why they will require host. Okay, so by using these machinery or weapons, they will enter inside the human host, because this is we are talking about human immunodeficiency virus. So here host will be a human. So this is all about the center portion, okay, of the virus, that is a HIV virus, and its family is a retrovirus. So now let me go further. These layer, here you can see one envelope is there. As I told you, retrovirus are included into envelope enclosing RNA genome, and that's why here one capsid protein is there. one layer is there, one envelope is there, and that is made up of P24 protein. That is made up of protein. Okay, and that is P24 protein. So here this envelope is made up of P24 protein. Outside that you can see this bluish colored one more envelope is found. Okay, and that is made up of P17. So two protein layers are there surrounding the center part. One layer will be, means inner layer will be of P24 and outer layer may be of P17. So two protein layer will be there. Surrounding that, means surrounding this protein layer, one lipid layer will be there. Okay, and that is a lipoprotein layer. Okay, and inside this lipoprotein layer, in the somehow distances, you can see here some proteins are incorporated, making some distance and incorporated, and these proteins is the glycoproteins. Okay, and these proteins are considered as the GP41. This is the membrane embedded, you can see the portion, okay, which is membrane embedded inside the lipoprotein. This is the membrane embedded protein, that is a GP41. And the outer side which you can see here, that purplish color, that is a GP120. Okay, this is the protein, that is a glycoprotein, and that is GP120. So these membrane bound or membrane and incorporated proteins are called GP. This is a glycoprotein 41 that is incorporated in the membrane, and outer side, the outer part of this spike is called GP120. By GP41 and GP120, the structure which is formed, okay, here, this purplish color structures, whatever these structures are found on the envelope of the virus is called spike proteins, and these spike proteins are the main weapon to enter inside the human cell. We will learn in next lectures. Okay, so these all are the GP41, GP120 layer. Okay, and this will form together they will form spikes. Finally, the structure you can see here, this is the whole structure of HIV virus. Outer side, the spikes, this is a bluish color spike, that is called glycoproteins. Okay, then they are incorporated or entered inside the lipid membrane. Okay, then inner side, yellowish color structure is called RNA. Then outer side, a protein layer, that is called capsid. Then you can see greenish color structure, that is a matrix. And the very important, we will learn how it is important. So reverse transcriptase enzyme is a weapon. Though this is all about the structure of a HIV virus. So now let me understand how this HIV virus will enter inside the human body. So after getting into the body of the person, the virus enter into the macrophage. Okay, so be very clear, when this virus enters in our body, at that time the target cells of the virus will be macrophages, where RNA genome of the virus replicate. Okay, this RNA genome of the virus will replicate inside the macrophages, okay, to form viral DNA, and by replicating they will form a viral DNA with the help of a reverse transcriptase enzyme. I told you already. Okay, reverse transcriptase enzyme is the main weapon. Why? Because RNA genome is a single stranded. Okay, and then these reverse transcriptase enzyme, by using this reverse transcriptase enzyme inside the macrophages, this viral when enter inside the macrophages, at that time this RNA will be converted into DNA by using this enzyme, this reverse transcriptase enzyme. That's why a name is given reverse transcriptase enzyme. Okay, because it can convert RNA into DNA. This viral DNA gets incorporated into the host cell DNA. Okay, this is a must. They have to enter inside the DNA of the host. Okay, to work and function properly, and directs the infected cell to produce the virus particle. As this virus particle enters or get incorporate the DNA into the host cell DNA, they will start multiplication. Only after that they can start the multiplication, because machinery, all the machineries required for the multiplication will be used from the host cell, and for that purpose you can understand the DNA will incorporated into the host cell DNA, and after that whole cell, means whole host cell will be hijacked. Okay, now the whatever the proteins and whatever the structures and whatever the means component will be formed of the viruses. Okay, so totally that cell will be hijacked by the viruses. The macrophage continue to produce viruses and in this way act as a HIV factory, because now this macrophage after infection, this macrophage will now act as a HIV factory. Why? So many number. Okay, so many numbers, millions of copy of a virus will be formed inside the macrophage by using this mechanism. Simultaneously, HIV enters into the helper T cells. Okay, along with the macrophage, after infecting the macrophage, when number of viruses will increase, after that only, the T lymphocytes also get infected by the viruses and produce progeny of viruses. But before infection with the T lymphocyte, they must be replicate inside the macrophage. So that's why HIV factory is a macrophage, not the T lymphocyte. Be very clear about this. The progeny viruses released in the blood attacks other helper T cells, and by this way, again and again, this cycle will run, and again, more and more T lymphocyte will get infected. And you know very well what is the role of a T lymphocyte during the immune response. And by this way, person's immune system will get affected negatively. You can understand number of T cell will now decrease, and T cells are very important for fighting against some antigen. Okay, so T cells are now become decreased, and as a result of that, persons infected with the HIV will have decreased immune system. Okay, this is the repeated leading to the progressive decrease in the number of helper T cells, okay, in the body and infected person. So now let me understand more by using this diagram and try to understand how HIV virus will enter inside the macrophage. So first of all, when virus particle, okay, this is a HIV virus particle, and when this HIV virus come in contact with the macrophage, first of all they will enter inside the macrophage, that is confirmed. Okay, so when this HIV virus come in contact with the macrophage, they directly don't get entered. Okay, they have some mechanism. Let me understand that. On the surface of the macrophages, there is one receptor protein, and that is called CD4 receptor. These CD4 receptor present on the macrophage as well as on the T helper cell. Okay, so here what happened first? The HIV virus will come in contact with the CD4 molecule, and after that when it can come in contact with the CD4 molecule, as you know, as I told you, HIV virus will have a spike proteins, and that is made up of GP120. So GP120 spike will be bind with the CD4 molecule on the macrophages, and by this way this viral will get inside. Okay, first of all, it will bind with the macrophage. So how it is binding? The spikes, which is made up of GP120, will received on the surface of the macrophage. On the surface receptor which is present is the CD4 molecule, and by this way this viral will be received, okay, by the macrophage. Then what happen in second step? Here you can see the viral particle, total viral particle is not entering. Okay, only center part of the virus will get inserted. Okay, so here you can see rest of other particles, rest envelope will be remain outside of the cell. Okay, that will not enter in the macrophage. Only entering is the center portion. Okay, that is only a RNA portion, 2 strands of RNA and 3 enzymes. Okay, that is the second step. And third step, inside the third step you can see now this reverse transcriptase enzyme, as I told you, it is a weapon. Okay, so by using reverse transcriptase enzyme, the virus itself, it have a RNA. Okay, as a genetic material. Now these RNA, their own RNA, by using their own enzyme, that is a reverse transcriptase enzyme, this virus will now convert that RNA into DNA. So here you can see they will form a DNA, and now it is called viral DNA. Okay, so next step is what? In the next step, after forming a viral DNA, these viral DNA must be enter inside the host DNA, or must be incorporated into the host DNA. For that purpose, they have to enter into the nuclear envelope. Okay, this is a nuclear envelope, you know, and then these viral DNA will get inserted. Okay, host DNA by using host DNA, the host DNA will be cut by the using integrase enzyme, and by using integrase enzyme, this viral DNA get integrated inside the host DNA. Okay, so integrase enzyme will play a very important role here. So first of all, reverse transcriptase playing very important role, that will convert RNA into DNA. Then integrase is the important, means the enzyme which will help the viral DNA to get incorporated into the host DNA. And after that, okay, this cell, this macrophage is hijacked by the viral particles. Okay, and now whatever the transcription occur, whatever the translation occur, as a result of that, new viral particle will be formed. Okay, new viral proteins will be formed. Okay, that is the next step. And finally, in the sixth step, what happened? New viral RNA and protein move to the cell surface. After production of some viral components, that old component will pass through the surface of the macrophage. Okay, and cell surface, and the new immature HIV forms. Here it is immature form. And finally, in the seventh step, the virus mature by protease enzyme, and that is a third weapon. Okay, maturation will occur by the help of a protease enzyme and releasing individual HIV protein. And by this way, they will release the virus from the macrophages, and the number of virus will be abundant. You can see here a number of virus will be released from the macrophages, and that's why macrophages are considered as a factory of HIV virus. So now let me try to understand how this HIV virus can be transmitted from one person to another person. So transmission of HIV infection generally occur by these four ways. Okay, first here you can see sexual contact with infected person. Suppose person is already infected with the HIV, then there is a chance if another person intercourse with him or her, okay, sexual intercourse, and due to that only infected person may transmit the disease to the normal healthy person. By transfusion of a contaminated blood and blood products, that is another way. Okay, if blood is not tested properly and without any proper testing, and this blood if transfused to another healthy person, then there is also chance of a contamination or infection. Then third one, by sharing infected needles. Sometime drug abusers, some drugs are intravenous drugs, they can be injected by the injections, and if sharing of such infected needles occur, at that time only there is a chance of getting infection. Then D, and final last chance, that is from infected mother. As I told you earlier, infected mother can pass some particles by using blood, by using placenta. Okay, so this placenta may transfer these HIV viruses from mother to the fetus, and by this way the fetus itself or child itself can be get infection by using placenta. Now, so people who are at high risk getting this infection include, means which are the persons are having more chances to get infection are individual who have multiple sexual partners, okay, more than one sexual partners, drug addicted persons who take drugs intravenously by using injections, then individual who require repeated blood transfusions. Okay, some person may require, like thalassemic person may require blood transfusion every week or twice in a week, like that, so they have more chances to get infection. Children born to an HIV infected mother, means suppose person or a mother is already infected and she is pregnant, and she can pass this HIV infection to the newborn. When HIV virus enter in the human body, that doesn't mean person will directly get the AIDS. Okay, because there is always a time lag between the infection and the appearance of AIDS symptom. Okay, person may take some time after entry of HIV virus. That doesn't mean immediately they will show the symptoms of HIV. This period may be vary from few months to many years. Sometimes people after getting infection of HIV, they may show a symptom after 5 years or 10 years. Okay, that is depend on the immune system of the person. After entry of HIV virus to establishment of AIDS related symptom, in between whatever the time period is there, Okay, maybe 5 years, maybe few months, maybe few years, okay, whatever it may be. So whatever the duration in between infection and establishment of AIDS, that is called incubation period. So during that incubation period, the person suffer from bouts of fever. So many times they will have fever, maybe diarrhea, maybe weight loss. These all are the indicative symptoms. Due to decrease in the number of T helper cells, what happen? Now that T helper cell will get affected, and the person starts suffering from infection, so many infections, because their immune system is lost now. That could have been otherwise overcome, such as those due to a bacteria, especially mycobacteria, that is responsible for tuberculosis or TB, viruses, fungi, even with the parasite like toxoplasma. So as a result of that, means as a infection and related symptoms or AIDS related symptoms, what happen? Immune system is totally decreased. Okay, not functioning well, and as a result of that, so many other organisms will enter, because immune system will not fight against these antigens. Okay, as a result of that, a person have more chances to get some other infections like TB, viruses, fungi, even like parasites like toxoplasma. So by this way, the patient become so immunodeficient, their immune system is deficient, that he or she is unable to protect himself or herself against this infection, because totally their immune system is not working properly, and our immune system is the only system which will protect us from the antigen. So now let me go through a diagnostic test, how we can detect the AIDS related symptoms, so and confirm the AIDS. A widely used diagnostic test is a enzyme link immunosorbent assay, that is a ELISA test. Okay, there is an enzyme link immunosorbent assay. Along with that, one more test is also there, and that is a Western blot test. Okay, by using these two tests, ELISA test and Western blot test, you can confirm a person with the AIDS. Treatment of AIDS with the antiretroviral drugs. Okay, there is a no cure. There is a no cure available till that. Okay, you can just minimize the symptoms, okay, and control the symptoms of the person, but you cannot cure totally. Okay, once AIDS occur, it will be lifetime or it will be fatal. Treatment of AIDS with antiretroviral drugs is only partially effective. It is a partially effective. You can say that it is not for the cure purpose. That is just to maintain the AIDS related symptoms. They can only prolong the life of the patient but cannot prevent the death. Okay, it can be prevent some time, means some years they can increase in their life, but it is confirmed that person will, after getting infection of AIDS, person will ultimately die. Okay, because which is inevitable, means you cannot avoid the death of the person. So as I told you, here in this is total cure is not possible, but if a person takes some preventive measures or precautions, they can just protect themselves from the HIV virus infection. So here let me understand what are the preventive measures for the AIDS. Is AIDS has a no cure. Okay, you cannot cure the disease totally. Prevention is the best option. Okay, because it is said that prevention is always better than the cure. Moreover, HIV infection more often spread due to the conscious behavior pattern and is not something that happens inadvertently. Okay, like pneumonia or typhoid. Okay, then of course, infection in the blood transfusion patient, newborn from the mother, etc., may take place due to poor monitoring. Only poor monitoring. You can means protect themselves. Okay, but by taking some precautions. If precautions are not taken, then they may have the AIDS. The only excuse may be ignorance. Okay, only ignorance can lead to the AIDS related symptoms, and it has been rightly said, don't die of ignorance. Okay, it is said that if you ignore something, then you may die. So don't die of ignorance. In our India, some non-governmental organizations are also working for educating the people about the AIDS. Okay, then WHO has started a number of programs to prevent the spreading of the HIV infection, and they also spread the awareness within the persons and people, making blood from blood banks safe from the HIV. Okay, they are trying to making the blood from the blood banks safe from the HIV by testing and all, ensuring the use of only disposable needles. Okay, you should use the disposable needle. If you want to avoid the disease, then you have to use disposable needles and syringes in public and private hospital and the clinics. Okay, free distribution of condom is sexual intercourse is the main part when this virus get infected. So free distribution of condom may prevent that. Then controlling drug abuse. Okay, advocating a safe sex. Okay, and promoting regular checkups for the HIV in susceptible population are some such step taken up. Okay, by using these all step and these all precautionary steps, we can prevent ourselves from the HIV. So now let we understand of some moral duties is concerned with the HIV AIDS. Infection with the HIV or having AIDS is something that should not be hidden. What happen if hidden? Since then the infection may spread. Okay, if person is hiding that related to infection related information, then there is a more chance to get infected and they will spread the disease in more people. Okay, that's why it should not be hidden. Second thing, HIV AIDS infected people need help and sympathy because this disease is considered as a social stigma. Okay, and instead of being shunned by the society, then unless society recognizes it as a problem to be dealt with as a collective manner, the chances of wider spread of the disease increase manifold. Okay, if society not cooperating each other for fighting against this disease, then they may increase in number manifold. Then it is a malady that can not only be taken, okay, by the society and medical fraternity acting together. Okay, so to prevent the spread of the disease, it is important to note that HIV AIDS is not a spread by mere touch. It is not just a touch related disease. Just only if blood to blood transfusion occur, blood to blood contact is occur, at that time only this disease may be spreaded. So mere touch is not responsible for causing disease. Physical contact is not responsible for causing disease. It is spread only through body fluids. Okay, like semen, like lymph nodes, lymph related secretions, maybe blood. Okay, so body fluids are the responsible for spreading the disease. It is hence imperative for the physical and psychological well-being that the HIV AIDS infected person are not isolated from family. Sometimes what happen, once it is diagnosed that person is suffering from AIDS, people maintain some distance from that person. It is not a good thing. Okay, so instead of isolating the person, they should not be isolated from the family, even from the society. Now this is the homework for you. That is first question. What are the various routes by which transmission of human immunodeficiency virus take place? What is the mechanism by which the AIDS virus causes deficiency of immune system of the infected person? And rest other MCQs you have to solve. In next lecture, we will learn very important disease and that is cancer. So till that, goodbye.